Senator Perry, my overall concern is about the unintended consequences from this bill. I'm concerned that this bill misuses religion as a license to discriminate. And just from reading and material and reading a bit of the bill, I feel that it is targeting the LGBTQ community. And if you differ with that, I'd like to hear your argument that it doesn't.
I differ with that. I guess I'd ask you, can you point to an area that is currently in licensing and regulations that this bill would change that would allow discrimination at any level, not even just that community, but for any other community, because it just doesn't exist. This is providing a defense to those people that practice their faith under a state license and are challenged by that practicing of that faith and could eventually lose that.
Okay. So the bill would protect licensed professionals who choose to impose their religious beliefs on and discriminate against patients and clients based on marital status?
What are you reading from there? Because my bill just says that it offers...
notes.
Your what?
My notes. I'm reading my notes.
So those are your interpretation. All the bill says is there's a defense provided to someone that is rung up at an administrative, non-elected board into practicing their faith as a defense. That's all this bill does, is provides a defense. It doesn't go down the path of saying you can now do the ABC, which is already prohibited by state or federal law. There's already protections for all the concerns that have been raised or being raised. But what it doesn't do is disallow me from practicing faith under my profession and not have a defense if someone wants to take my license from it.
Okay. So let's say a pharmacist refuses to dispense contraception to an unmarried woman because he or she believes sex outside of marriage is immoral.
So currently pharmacists are a little bit of an outlier. They don't have some of the licensing requirements in their. Pharmacists pretty much can do that, but they can lose their license.
Okay. Another example. A family attorney refuses to work with clients who have been previously divorced or in a interfaith marriage because the attorney has religious objections.
So under the bill, the attorney could say, no, I can't in good faith provide you that service. And at that point, that attorney could go before the board. And if they go before the day, there's no defense of their faith specifically enumerated and explicitly stated that that would be a valid defense at the administrative board level. So today, he doesn't have the full tool chest of defending why he did not do the service. This bill just says you will have one more tool in the tool chest to be able to argue your position as to why you should keep your license.
Okay. So looking at the business community, I know that there have been some businesses that have come
This doesn't have any impact on businesses whatsoever. No businesses are state licensed underneath this particular statute that we're looking at.
Okay.
Individual licenses, but not
there
businesses.
Was a group of businesses that came out opposing. I think 50 businesses signed a letter in opposition. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard that businesses came out opposed. I've got some businesses that do oppose it. I've got some pastors against it. I've got some pastors for it. So this is the world we live in the politics of the day. But this bill affects licensing from the state regulatory licensing. Doesn't have an impact on businesses.
I think that the business community is concerned that Texas will be seen as a state that is allowing religion to be used as a mechanism to discriminate, and that's why they've signed a letter.
And we can have a philosophical debate about why Texas is doing well or not well versus others, but there's still effectively 8,000 to 1,000 people showing up here. So if we're not doing something right for the last 15 years, and a large part of this chamber has been on social issues of the day that are wildly unpopular in the business community on some level, but we must be doing something right because Texas is coming here. The truth be known, it's our economic environment. It's the low regulations. It's the low taxes. So if businesses are honest, they show up here because we've set a regulatory framework in place that allows them to be successful and in part makes our citizens successful. But these issues of the day, they're always going to be controversial because they strike at the core of who every individual is. And there's standards out there that some believe or don't believe, and there's this inherent tension, and it's been here since day one we were founded. But it's not, just because of that does not make this an issue we should ignore when you see the effect of a bulldozer type mentality coming through the country over people of faith.
I want to make sure that we're keeping in mind what some of those unintended consequences may be. We've seen other states that have passed laws and that the perception or the some things that have occurred that send a message that that particular state discriminates, and those particular states have lost business, have lost major conventions and conferences, and I just respectfully disagree that may be one of those unintended consequences here.
I appreciate the perspective.
Senator Hinojosa, you're recognized. For what purpose?